You're putting in the time, you're practicing, you're watching videos, but your riding just isn't getting better. Maybe your buddies are pulling away on group rides, or you're stuck feeling like you're just not progressing. I mean, most riders think they just need to get faster or lean further or practice more U-turns. But what if I told you that without 3 specific things, you'll hit a wall, a metaphorical wall. You're not literally going to crash into a wall. Hi, my name is Dave, and I've been coaching riders for 25 years. And every great rider that I've worked or ridden with has dialed in these 3 fundamentals. And I can promise you, if you start working on these things, your riding will improve in ways that you probably can't even imagine. So let's break it down. Now, based on the comments I read every day, you're not alone in wanting to become a great rider. You know, more precision, fewer close calls, more control, faster. I mean, a lot of you guys struggle with just keeping up with traffic on technical roads, and that's why I'm here for you. Now, while I love track time, I mean, I love it, and I think it's an amazing place to hone your craft in as low risk way as possible, there's this common misconception that you have to spend a lot of time on a track to truly improve. Now, yeah, for sure, track time and even racing will speed up your development as a rider, but I am here to tell you it's not required. But let me tell you what is. There are 3 things that we need to master to become great at what we do. Fundamental number 1, technical craft. And this is everything we tell the bike to do. This is the majority of content you've probably seen, right? How to trail brake, how to blip a shift, how to ride downhill corners, how to find your apex. I mean, how we physically interact with the bike, what we tell the bike to do, is a huge part of this sport. And this is the content that performs the best, but it's only 3/9 of the equation. Fundamental 2, physical fitness. Now, this gets overlooked more than you think. I was working with a rider who was extremely fast, but only for a few laps at a time. And he was struggling to win races when he knew he was quicker than many of his competitors. Everyone was suggesting that he upgrade his bike or work with one of our local racers to further develop his racecraft. But he was about 30 pounds overweight and hadn't done any kind of physical exercise since high school. And here's the thing about physical fitness. The more fit you are, the longer you're gonna have access to your technique. So without a base level of cardio fitness, as soon as we get tired, our eyes get slower and we can't process information as quickly. When we have a base level of strength and flexibility, it's easier to move around on the bike. Our muscles take much longer to fatigue and they recover quicker. Fundamental 3, mental fitness. And this is one of the most underrated of all. How easily are we distracted? I mean, we live in a TikTok world. Attention spans are lower than they've ever been. I mean, think about it. We are doing something extremely dangerous. Our exposure to risk is really high, right? Is it really the time to be thinking about something else? I mean, if we're distracted while trying to do a difficult task, we're effectively sabotaging ourselves before we really begin. So hey, drop a comment. Which of these 3 is holding your riding back the most right now? All right, so then the question is, how do we improve? Let's start off with technique or our craft. I mean, we need to set aside time to train or to practice. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but dedicated, focused practice can yield really powerful results. Our goal is to mitigate risk, right? So even if you don't have time for a ride today, maybe go out into the garage and sit on your back and practice rolling off the throttle to the front brake. Or practice the first and last 5% of brake pressure by pushing your bike, bringing it to a smooth stop, and then slowly releasing the brake again to get it rolling in a very smooth way. Now, here's a really fun one. On a racetrack, we pore over the track map and we analyze the corners to find the most proficient way through a bend. Now, take that to your street riding. Pull up Google Earth and study a corner that you struggle with. Dissect it and find where the slowest point is or the safest line. Now, this not only helps you out with that specific corner, but it teaches you how to recognize unfamiliar corners faster. Okay, so now how can we improve our physical self? This one is often really misunderstood. Physical fitness isn't about getting ripped, it's about riding better for longer. Now, most of the people that I've worked with, they train wrong for what we're trying to accomplish here. Look, there's a reason why every professional rider spends a ton of time on bicycles. It's the best way to build a base level of cardio. The goal is to be able to spend double the amount of time on a bicycle as what you want to accomplish on the motorcycle. For example, you want to be able to ride the full 20-minute track session. You need to be able to do 40 minutes on your bicycle. Now, if you're a touring rider and you're exhausted before the next gas stop every hour, you want to be able to pedal for at least 2 hours. But here's where everybody gets this part wrong. You want to be able to do double the time of a good Zone 2 level of intensity. And if you're not familiar with Zone 2 training, Zone 2 is really mellow. Zone 2 is where you can carry on a conversation without gasping. Your breathing is deeper but still controlled, and you might sweat, but you're not straining. This is often called the talk test. If you can speak in full sentences but couldn't comfortably sing, you're likely in Zone 2. And it's the sweet spot for fat metabolism, aerobic endurance, and mitochondrial development. And that's exactly what we want. You don't need to go out and kill yourself to get the benefits we're looking for. Now, core strength and flexibility, we have to think about everything from our ankles to our shoulders. We need to be able to hold ourselves up in place while riding. Now, here's the cool part. This doesn't take as much time as you think. And then lastly, the most overlooked element is probably mental fitness. And I think this is where a lot of us are actually struggling. I mean, we live in this on-demand world, right? Like seriously, even if you're trying to avoid the news, it finds its way into your life, especially right now. But when we ride, we need to separate our worlds. We need to get good at compartmentalization. Like put your phone down. Refuse to look at your phone while you're riding at the track or even out for a day ride. Or, and stay with me here, don't put your phone on your handlebars. Seriously, this has changed my life. I refuse to put my phone on my handlebars. I don't want to see it. But what about music and GPS directions? I just use my Cardo. And not just that, I rely on my Cardo. Turn-by-turn voice directions are better than looking down at your phone and watching all of those alerts come in. And now what are you thinking about? You're not riding, but you're thinking about some alert that just came across your screen. Seriously, Cardo, you guys are saving lives. And honestly, that's why I just love working with Cardo. What's also super cool is for the next 2 days, July 3rd and 4th, Cardo is having their Independence Day flash sale. 22% off their web store, including the brand new Pack Talk Pro. I mean, this is the best Pack Talk ever, and this is the deepest discount they've ever offered on it. Plus, because it's the holiday, you get a free American flag decal that ships free with every Pack Talk Edge, Neo, or Pro. But you've got to act now, and you have to use my coupon code, RIDEWELL, for the discount. Links are in the description or right down there in the corner. And now let's not also ignore the fact that more mental strength results in more emotional stability. Have you ever just overreacted over a car changing lanes a little too close to you or have a little meltdown and then an hour realize that it really wasn't that big of a deal? When it comes to motorcycles, emotions don't serve us very well. They make us reactive and less proactive, and we want less of the first one and more of the second one. Now, the last part of mental fitness is training your eyes and vision for a higher level of performance. Now, all of that eye performance is mental. What you see, it triggers your techniques. We want to recognize things sooner, right? Now look, I like to actually blend working on this with my physical fitness. It's why I love riding mountain bikes. It just translates so perfectly to motorcycling. You know, we're riding in a low grip environment in a relatively low risk way, but there's also ample opportunities to work on speeding up my eyes and my vision. Now, there's also games you can play, like tossing things around and catching the blue arm or the red arm. And there's a bunch of apps on your phone that you can download that are designed to work your eyes and make them faster. I mean, think about it. The next 15 meters or 50 feet have already been ridden. Our eyes need to be actively scanning for what's coming next. Look, one of the great things about this sport is that we get to do something athletic without having to be an elite athlete. But that doesn't mean we can't work on the skills that make the world's best. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you've learned something, and if not, I hope you were at least entertained. If you were, please click like and consider subscribing, or maybe even consider becoming a channel member. Channel members have been invaluable in helping me keep all of this content free and out from behind a paywall. If you want even more free content, consider joining our monthly newsletter. Links are down in the description. And lastly, thank you so much for watching. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So thanks again. Ride on and ride well.